In a strange turn of events, a series of secret cables released by WikiLeaks show communications between the US Embassy in Beijing and Washington saying that there was no bloodshed at Tiananmen Square 22 years ago. This news was released in the UK paper The Telegraph, who had exclusive access to the WikiLeaks cables. The secret US cables actually partly confirmed the Chinese government's story that no massacre occurred on June 4th, 1989 at the Tiananmen Square protest. This new revelation goes in stark contrast to the official line propagated by Western powers that a massive killing of peaceful protesters took place. In the cables is detailed what US diplomats were told at the time. They were advised not to go into the streets unless they were involved in frontline reporting. This can be confirmed as several news agencies from around the world covered the event live. A cable carries the story that a Chilean diplomat gave when he witnessed the events. He watched the military enter the square and did not observe any mass firing of weapons into the crowds, although sporadic gunfire was heard. He said that most of the troops which entered the square were actually armed only with anti-riot gear, truncheons, wooden clubs, and were backed up by armed soldiers. The diplomat was working with a Red Cross station inside Tiananmen Square, the one that was claimed to have been attacked by people dying by the hands of the Chinese military. In fact, he said that a line of troops had surrounded them and they panicked, fleeing. However, he said there was no mass firing into the crowd of students at the monument. One of the leaders of the protests, Liu Xiaobo, the man who won the Nobel Peace Prize last year, had actually ordered the students to leave Tiananmen Square. The Chilean diplomat said once an agreement was reached for the students to withdraw, linking hands to form a column, the students left the square through the southeast corner. This sharply contradicts the testimony of several journalists who were in Beijing, claiming that the government troops had attacked the unarmed civilians. Here is an excerpt from the article. In 2009, James Miles, who was the BBC correspondent in Beijing at the time, admitted that he had conveyed the wrong impression and that there was no massacre on Tiananmen Square. Protesters who were still in the square when the army reached it were allowed to leave after negotiations with martial law troops. There was no Tiananmen Square massacre, but there was a Beijing massacre. I am loath to give any credit to Deng Xiaoping. He is the revisionist leader who brought capitalism back to China. He was the one who caused those legitimate protests to take place. The people were protesting against the dismantling of the people's communes, the dissolving of the barefoot doctors, which effectively ended healthcare for the rural population. The people were protesting to bring back the Iron Rice Bowl, which had been established under Mao's revolutionary China. Footage is available of demonstrators singing the Internationale, the communist anthem, in defiance of the Deng Xiaoping regime. I, for one, believed the story of the Tiananmen Square, that Deng Xiaoping did kill those who protested against him. I, however, am proven wrong, along with the rest of the world. If you liked this video, then click here to go over to the Maoist commentary channel where another great video was also uploaded today.